Now, as a reminder, we are doing another George Pickens jersey raffle this summer. So every $5 super thanks gets you in to the George Pickens jersey raffle. Send in $5. I'll answer your question, comment, whatever, and we'll get you in the raffle. Turd Ferguson, SNL legend. Since Eberflus blitzes less, you do a lot of stunt and twist stuff to get movement on the line. There will be enough of that. I think, in general, and this is more of a philosophy for me, I don't like stunts outside of like obvious passing downs. I don't like run stunts. I think run stunts just get you out of position too often. So third downs, yeah, I think you'll see some stunts and you'll see the occasional blitz too. But I think like run downs, I kind of want hat on a hat. I've seen too many times they stunt someone, it just creates the gap because the guy does not get over there in time because the O-line's moving downfield. So I think passing downs, yeah, you'll see some stunts. He hasn't had a Micah before. That'll be fun for him. But I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be a Brian Flores defense overall. TX7. Hopefully JaVonte breaks 1,000 yards this season. I mean, if that happens, that is like an A-plus level outcome for the Cowboys. That is the best case scenario that's like semi-realistic because like he's not going to go for 2,000, you know? I don't know how realistic it is. I think that's asking a lot for a guy that didn't do it, has had injury stuff. I think it'll be a pretty heavy committee, but I think as of right now, he's kind of in the slight lead to be that lead back. From Bart Hester, is that Devin's nephew or something? Deep cut. Why wouldn't the Cowboys pursue Travis Etienne? I think in the end, they want to see what these backs have. Like they want to see what JaVonte Williams has once the pads come on, a week and a half into camp. How is Miles Sanders washed up, or does he have some juice left in him? How impactful was Jaden Blue early on in his career? Does Deuce Vaughn have anything to offer? Does Phil Maffa surprise people as a late 7th round pick? Does Lipke does more than just fullback stuff? So they want to see what that running back room looks like. And if they don't have good feelings about it in mid-August, then I think a player like Etienne starts to make some more sense. So, do the Cowboys need a running back? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Y or N. It is the pinned comment on today's show. So go vote yes or no. Donnell, Texas Wolf Graves, excuse me. Is it possible the Cowboys make a trade for Andrew Billings? I want to say yes, that they can go get him. But I also know that when Ben Johnson took that job for the Chicago Bears, he kind of went out of his way to point out like the on-off splits for Andrew Billings of like, they were a lot better with Andrew Billings on the field than they were off the field. So if he is available, I want him. He's the nose guard the proven nose guard the Cowboys need. I would wonder if a different defense lineman for Chicago is more likely to be available. A Zach Pickens maybe. That might be more available. But I'd call about him, see what they say. Steven, if Shemar Stewart doesn't agree to return to Cincinnati, would you be willing to trade a second for him? So, yes, I would. But that's not going to happen. Dallas is not going to give up a second-round pick for another edge. They're kind of overloaded at that spot right now. Although I think, a team might offer like a conditional 2 anyway and beat him out because he was a top 20 pick. The Bengals and Shemar Stewart will agree to a deal. Like, the Bengals, in the middle of Joe Burrow's prime, are not going to punt a first-round pick over what amounts to like $500,000, $1 million in guaranteed money. Like, they're just not going to. So someone will cave there, and he will be with the Bengals, and it'll probably start slow because they screwed up in the first place. So don't get your hopes up at all there. From Furman Costa, how about adding Amari Cooper to make the receiver room even better? I would also not get my hopes up here. It's a fun idea of like, we upgraded over Tolbert again, although Tolbert outplayed Amari Cooper last year, if we're being honest with ourselves here. I think Amari wants a bigger role. He is not going to get many targets in the Cowboys offense with Lamb and Pickens out there. Now, knock on wood, one of those guys gets hurt, reevaluate, obviously. But as constructed, as healthy, I don't think Amari wants to go down that path because he's not going to get the targets and thus another contract next season. That is a pass as well. So name a player who you want to sign. Any free agent out there, let me know in the comments of today's show. From Robert, can Caelen Carson play the slot? Any news on him? We didn't get to see much of Carson at minicamp / OTAs. He was still rehabbing his shoulder surgery. Should be good to go week 1 of training camp. Not too worried about that one there. So just it's been quiet because he wasn't 100%. Was doing some individual stuff at most. You could try him at slot, but he's never done it before. So I wouldn't think that you'd try him that much, but I could see, like, give him some reps, see how he does, just to know one way or the other, since he's lined to be like corner 5 or 6 once everyone's healthy, and you kind of want some position flex there. But he hasn't done much of it, so it is kind of more of an unknown. This Dak Prescott t-shirt, jersey shirt, number shirt, whatever you want to call it, is on clearance on Fanatics. It was $39. Now it's $10. Chatsports.com/Dak shirt. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Daniel M. Would Dallas take a chance on Asante Jr., or is his neck injury that serious? The team's just trying to stay away from him. The answer is we don't know yet. He's supposed to get medically rechecked at some point this month. We'll probably know more at that point. But the neck surgery is a big-time red flag. It'd be a 1-year flyer anyway, so I don't think there's too much concern in terms of just like, is he going to last for 5 years? Well, it's a 1-year contract, so you're not going to freak out too much about that. But if they don't pass medically, they don't pass medically, so it kind of is what it is. I think the arm length might be a bigger issue for Dallas. / he probably wants a chance to play more guaranteed snaps. YouTube J, Mike Hilton or Stephon Gilmore? Good question. I think it depends on what you want. If you want the outside guy, it's obviously Stephon Gilmore. All right, that's a no-brainer. If you want the inside guy, that's Mike Hilton. If you want the better run support player, that's Mike Hilton. If you want the better coverage player, that's Stephon Gilmore. So it depends on the role, because I don't think the money is that drastically different. Kind of a non-answer, but if you feel good about Bland on the inside, then Gilmore. If you want Bland on the outside, then Hilton. Tyson Wolf, is Mazi Smith going to do anything? We shall see. Big year for him. He's healthy for this offseason for the first time, but it's another new defensive scheme. Valid questions all over Mazi Smith right now. If he doesn't take a big step forward this year, he showed flashes last season. It's tough to have him as a piece next year of a reliable piece, which I would argue they're relying too much on him as it is right now anyway. So with that in mind, I want honest answers here. What is your confidence level in Mazi Smith? 1 to 10 is your scale. From Texas Wolf, in all likelihood, there are no teams who want to trade one of their defensive tackles. Could the Cowboys possibly sign Raekwon Davis? That's a decent veteran name, maybe the one that intrigues me the most, alongside like a Linval Joseph. He wasn't great for Indy last year and got paid and got cut and hasn't been much buzz around him. But, desperate times call for desperate measures. I think that would be a valid free agent option for the Dallas Cowboys, absolutely. Daniel, does it make sense for Dallas to trade Bass for a corner when we need help at corner? I think if you're trading, whether it's for a defensive tackle or a corner or insert position here, whatever it is, I do think a TJ Bass trade is one that you should probably consider. He has played games in the NFL. He plays an offensive line spot that NFL teams always need help at. And the Cowboys have offensive line depth. They go pretty deep relative to most teams with guys that were draft picks or have played real NFL snaps. In fact, every player on this team along the offensive line either was a draft pick outside of Dakota Shepley and has played real actual NFL snaps. That's very rare. That's almost unheard of in the NFL in the preseason. So I do think if you want to trade somebody, TJ Bass, even though I like him, it's probably on that list. Now, we'll have videos for you every single day on the Cowboys. Hit that sub button right now. From Cowboy Hater. All right, Chris. All right. Let's see how it is. Hope these boys get the crap together and win these dang games. Need them mentally ready on and off the field. Yeah, I think a lot of that is probably coaching related, right? Like you have to have these boys locked in and prepared to play and make some big time impacts. Like look, they don't win this year or at least show growth. It's kind of murky. Like the way this should go is they should show improvement from last year to this year. And the way the money sets up, they should be aggressive next year. But if they don't show promise, it's tough to think that they'll actually spend some money in the offseason when they don't really do it anyway. Like, this is kind of a prime window to make something happen. Are they going to step up and deliver on that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that front.